Welcome to one of two main training sessions for this week as we line up to take on the Eagles, and an absolutely fun training session with a lot of things going on. As you can see here, Reef McInnes is back on the ground for the first time since that ACL injury at the start of the year, and it was just absolutely just a heartwarming. All the boys got around him here. That was one of two big announcements for the day, and it only gets better from here. But I am so stoked to see Reef back up and about. Like always, there was a few things that I wanted to check out mainly today. It was who was on the track, Billy Frampton, Beau McCreery, seeing what they were like, a couple of the other injuries that happened in the VFL, and obviously, the likes of Braden Maynard, Jordan DeGoey, and where they were all tracking. As you can see here, TJ was doing some little bit of ball sort of work. He injured himself in the VFL. We don't know the extent. That should be released soon. In regards to everyone else, Billy Frampton and Beau McCreery weren't on the track. We'll find more about what happened to them later today when we get the injury report from the club. Braden Maynard had a full training session. Jordan DeGoey was out there as well with Lockie Schultz, Finn McRae. Harvey Harrison was doing a lot of the drills, so he's on his way up as well. It was hard to say, what sort of is the team looking like. And, sometimes we look at the black jumpers versus the white jumpers. Pretty much everyone was in a black jumper today, so it was sort of difficult if you wanted to get a bit of a read on it. And no one was really split into, like, the twos versus the ones. You'd probably find that more out on Thursday. This was just a full squad training session, and, lots of running, lots of conditioning. Not so much fundamentals. They did most of that on Monday that I covered. This one was more situational training, transitional training, and I dare say on Thursday we might see a little bit of match sim. One thing that was interesting was Jack Crisp wasn't fully training. I'm hearing that he might be a little bit crook. He could miss his first game in, 10 or something years. So keep an eye out on that. That would be absolutely interesting. But other than that, there wasn't any more new injuries that we haven't heard of over the last couple of days. So that's, really good to hear. Speaking of the devil, here's Harvey Harrison now, who looks just absolutely huge. Like, his arms are massive thanks to all of that training in the gym now. Tom Mitchell looked slick as ever. You can see Jack Crisp a little bit there. So I think he's touch and go from what I've been hearing from people around the track. You'll see some Oscar Steen on camera right now, 21. He had a good training session. No one really fully stood out in this training session because it was just one of those, transitional training sessions, all those sort of drills. But I would love to see him get a go in the next few weeks. You can see Charlie West on the screen now, who is definitely getting a go because he is debuting this weekend. It was announced today. You'll see that a little bit later on in the video. So we could start seeing a couple more kids debut, which will be good. Test out the depth, because you need to start testing out the depth when it comes to close to finals. Bit of goal kicking drills here. Bobby Hill absolutely shanked that one from about 25 metres out. Geordie goes back and kicks a nice one there. One guy that I'm very excited to see is Noah Howe. So that's him there with the ball. He injured himself against the Zebras, but he sort of came back on. But I want to see how his development goes throughout the year. So I'm going to keep a close eye on him in training sessions and in the VFL to give you a better sort of report on that, because I think he could be a really exciting prospect. One thing you'll see at training a lot that you won't see a lot on the ground or on the TV is the way Darcy Moore really instructs all the defenders and works with the coaches and stuff like that. You see him now with Craig McRae. So, people who are questioning his ability to captain or anything like that just need to get down to a training session and see what he's actually doing, because he is just he's been phenomenal this season. And, I know that's in part thanks to Billy Frampton as well as that Nathan Murphy replacement, but Darcy Moore's captaincy should never be questioned. Here's four of our big men. You got Smith, Steen, Howes, and Charlie West. They could be the future of this Collingwood lineup. They're talking about us falling off a cliff and stuff like that. You got Charlie Dean, who's a part of the future as well. Joel Cochran up in the corner over there. That's a Will Parker. Look, Will Parker is a bit of a guy that sort of goes under the radar, but he is absolutely smashing it. There's Joel Cochran there with Dimitir. So these are your sort of VFL players here training together, but it wasn't as switched as before. This is when they announced Charlie West, which is absolutely incredible. Now, towards the end of training, or pretty much at the end of training, Braden Maynard went with the rehab group to do a bunch of run-throughs. Now, I don't know if that is because it's, because he's done something or anything like that. I think it's just going to that part of the ground with the physios and osteos over there, whoever else is over there, so he can get those kilometres into his legs, because you would think that he plays against the Eagles. That is pretty much it for this training session. Some absolutely good news with Reef and West, and everyone looked great. Billy Frampton wasn't there and Beau wasn't there, but we'll find out a little bit later on. Let me know if you liked this video. If you did and you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Lots more of these coming out soon. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.